Hello, this is a MediPred, which is a healthcare management application. So first of all, I'm going to show you the dashboard. And here I have a login form, which I already showed last week, which is connected to my PostgreSQL database. So I'm just gonna log in so I can get authenticated and then see the dashboard. So this is new in here, so I included two different graphs. Right now, this graph is for diabetes risk analysis, so it means there are 12 patients that has a risk of getting diabetes, and then two that doesn't have any risk of getting diabetes. Right here on the right, I included a pie chart to categorize different ages. So for example, you can see infants, adolescents, seniors. So in here it tells you how many patients are registered in the system for each category. Okay, in here I want to include a different graph, but I'm not sure what to include in here, so I've just left it blank. The other part of the application that I work on is on the patients part. In here, you can see a list of the patients that have been created, which is connected to the database. So for example, if I go here and then run a query script, a SQL script, you can see all of the patients. So one second, let me do that. Okay. So I have all of the patients in here, right, with all of this information, so it's displaying here. Also, I can select patients, which highlights the row green, and the other part is this is active, the create patient button. So in here I have different fields. This is a form which is sent to my Django backend, and then uh, the information is revised and then is created on the database. So right here, if you notice, I have different required fields. So right now, if I try to create a patient with no information on the required fields, I'm gonna get a message in here which is gonna tell me fill all required fields. Also, if I try to create a patient with an email that is already associated with another patient, I'm gonna get an error in here. So if I click save, it tells me that that email is already taken. So just for testing purposes, I'm going to um, put a dummy email, and if I click save, the page is gonna be created in here, and then my database is updated as well. So right here is where you can see all the different patients, all the different information, and then create patients. Okay. The other part that I work on is on the analytics model. So in here I have different buttons for different analytics and predictions. Right now the only one that is working is diabetes. So if I click on that, I can see all of the analytics that I have, all of the analysis that I have made to patients for to analyze which ones have a risk of getting diabetes. This one shouldn't be looking like that. I need to fix it. But right here, if you see, there's an outcome part, which is this one actually, is not this. Should be this one in here. So 0 means that there's no risk, and 1 means that there's risk of getting diabetes. Also in here, I can highlight the row that I'm selecting, and then I can create a new analysis. This is a different form. I have a search button in here to search for patients, and this fields that only show information of the patient, so these are not modifiable. Sorry, you cannot modify these fields in here. And in here I also have some required fields. And if I try to save this form in here, it's gonna tell me that no patient is selected. So I need to search for the patient. So in here I can see all of the patients created in the database. I can search by first name, and I can see all of the patients that I'm trying to look. So let's say I want to create an analysis for this patient in here. So the information is gonna be provided in here. And then if I try in here to submit this form without filling the required fields, the system is gonna throw me a pop-up message that I need to fill the required fields. And so let's do one. So you can see that this analysis creates an outcome using a machine learning model. So if I click save, it's gonna do a prediction, and it's gonna show it in here. So if you see, this is the one I created, and the outcome is 1 because it has you know high blood pressure, insulin, and all of that. So this patient has a risk of getting diabetes, and this one, all of this information is provided to my Django project, which is in here. And then I have a model in here that I created and imported to this file, which is the diabetes model. And then in here I have all of the logic. So right here I load my model, and then in here I pre-process the data, and then it returns a prediction, which is the outcome in here. And then it saves it to the database, and then it shows it in here. Okay, and that's basically all I did for this week. Next week I'm going to work on improving some part of the code, like be able to edit, delete patients, and try to implement these different models in here to make more predictions, and then also improve my machine learning prediction accuracy. And in here, let me show you some of my code. This is my the code for my backend, which is created in the Django. I have my prediction model app, which is in charge of creating the predictions. So in here I have this class where I have a post method where all of the information is provided to this method from React, and then it provides an outcome and saves it to the database. Also in here I have my app application, which is the main application of the Django, which contains all of the models for creating patients, for getting information, getting analysis information. Here you can see get all patients. I have a get method, and then I provide different information to the request, and I exclude sensitive data, which is only visible on the database to avoid to avoid exposing sensitive information from the patient to the public. Okay. Also in here I have my React project, which is connected to my Django backend, and that way I can display information from the database to the UI. In here, I just want to show you, this is something that I did change during the week. I implemented React route library, which helps me to create different routing for my different models. So for example, I have here my main route is the login form, and until it's authenticated set to true, it takes me to the home screen in here. And then the home screen, I have my different routes for patients, for dashboard, and all of that. This is a big enhancement that I made because previously I had my components rendering through conditional statements, which was not optimal at all because it was a very bad user experience. So in here I have different routes, which makes my project easier to navigate and then render components easily and faster. Also, one big change that I made is this right here. So this is an overlay screen, which overlays all of the screen. Previously, I just re-rendered this part in here, this screen, based on conditional statements. Lastly, I just want to show you my repo. So I have different commits in here that I made during the last week and this week. So here you can see that I made more than 3 weeks straight of commitments. So each time I change a big part of the project, I always commit to my repo, so it's updated. And the last part is my Trello board. In here I have my wish list, which is not urgent, but I want to say something that I would like to see in my application. So this one, I'm not working on any of them right now. I'm just gonna finish with the pending, because that's the most important part. So in here you can see that there's different pending stuff that I need to make. But right now I'm working on editing diabetes analysis if it exists, and then I have all of my completed tasks in here. Also, I have some on hold because this requires more research, and also I need to think if this is something that I need to implement originally on my application or not, so I put them on hold. Okay, so that's all. My project is updated almost daily, and I'm going to continue with fixing different bugs in my application that I have, and also organizing my code for scalability purposes, because I believe this app can grow bigger because it has different models, and I can implement different functions and features, and also add different technologies such as different APIs to provide medical information in here. So I'm just going to work on organizing my code and cleaning it up so it is easier to work in the future and scale it to a big application.